Welcome back to RC Truth Media. Today would be November 9th, 2018. With a Democrat Congress in the House of Representatives, there is no doubt that there is going to be a lot of drama. Okay, a lot of negative things are going to be trying to go on with the president. Democrats are going to try to impeach, try to look at his taxes, try to look at all of the investigations that they can against the president. And none of this is probably going to go through. But there's one thing that they can agree on, the Republicans and the Democrats, and that's more spending. Okay, there's no disagreement about the need for government spending between the two parties, but the disagreement is where to spend it and how. Now, there is a problem on what's going on with the spending in our nation. It is shifted away from productive investments, like the building of the Hoover Dam, that created jobs, infrastructure, and development, to primarily social welfare, defense, and debt service, which has a negative rate of return. Nearly 75% of every tax dollar goes to non-productive spending. This is according to the Center on Budget and Policy's priorities. So most of this budget goes towards defense, social security, and major health programs. Okay, this is all a negative return on investment. Before, meaning back when 1950s, 60s, 70s, when our nation was doing great in terms of economy, okay, the spending was going towards building our nation's infrastructure, dams, roads. Now it's just going on repairing these things, coupled with another problem, and we're going to get to that right now. Well, there's three core reasons, according to Zero Hedge's article here, why so few Americans are able to get ahead. Number one is earnings. Wages and salaries have not kept up with the rising cost of living. Number two, the gains have flowed to capital, which is mostly owned by the top 10%, rather than to labor, which is wages and salaries. And number three, our financialized economy incentivizes cartels and other schemes, structures that raise costs but don't provide any additional value for the additional costs. Okay, so let's look at something that's pretty interesting here. It's instructive to compare today's household with households a few generations ago. Everybody remembers they got a grandfather or parents back in the 70s, 45 years ago. It was still possible for a single full-time earner to support the house and buy a home, which in 1973, the average median home price was $30,000. Okay, 20 years ago in 1998, the median house price in the U.S. was about $150,000, still within the reach of many two-earner households, even those with average jobs. Two people with a minimum wage job could afford a house in 1998. Now, today, what are we looking at? We're looking at two people with minimum wage jobs trying to afford an average house that is $325,000. Okay, that's over $250,000. Who can do that? Not a lot of people. This is why, okay? With the devaluation of the dollar, and the quantitative easing, which is the printing press, this is inflation. Okay, inflation is where they inflate the money to make the value not worth what it is, devalue the money. Okay, they use this to try to build credit. They've done this to try to build our nation up because they didn't have the money to fork up to build all the buildings and all the roads and infrastructure, so they created a credit-based system, a debt-based system, and this made our nation go dramatically into debt, and it devalued our money at the same time. And so today, our money, which used to be worth $1 back in 1913, is now worth less than 4 pennies. Okay, let's look what's just been happening in the past 10 years, according to this chart here. Purchasing power of the U.S. dollar since 2008 has went down 17.3%. That means that with $100 10 years ago, that same $100 could buy $82.70 worth of goods today. Okay, so that's how much it has devalued since then. Now, if you look at today versus the 1970s, it is way more than 17.3%. It's probably over 120%, somewhere around there. Like I said, it went from a dollar was worth a dollar to now it's worth less than 4 pennies. So that's over 100%, pretty much devaluation comparatively to, say, if we were talking about $20 compared to $100. Well, I hope you got something out of coming here. What can I say positive about what's happening? There is a NAFTA new deal that has been trying to go through, which would be great for America, Mexico, and Canada. Trump's been trying to get it through, and it is up to the Congress to pretty much finalize this thing. It's going to be up to the new Congress. Okay, so this right now, there's all kinds of sanctions going on, and without the tariffs and sanctions in place, this is going to be great for these three countries here. Well, United States, Mexico, and Canada, North America agreement. Okay, if you want to read about it, I'm going to give you all the links to all the articles I've talked about. Thank you very much for coming and checking this out, and you have a great day. It's going to be great for our energy sector, that's for sure. See you next time.